All right, so our towel has all kinds of fun uses. I don't technically need it. You might not, but if your ankles are a little stiff, it's nice to have something underneath your ankles. So feel free to bolster it up more if you like. You're gonna have, I call it quadruped hip stretch. Or no, I call it quadruped rocking, that's right. That's a hip stretch is another one. So as you do this, you're on all fours. The distance between your hands and your knees is farther apart than your shoulders and your hips, okay? So it's okay if you need to move your hands up. Now, if your wrists are sensitive or they're just tight, you could put something on, like a little mat or something underneath, or a towel underneath here right where kind of the heel of the hand is. So let's just see, if you have a mirror, this is kind of cool because you can see what's happening when you go forward and back. So most of us, when we go back, we're gonna round, oopsie. And why was that an oopsie? And then coming forward, I sank, okay? So that means when we're moving, we're really not getting as much mobility out of our hips as we want. Those are ball and socket joints, ball and socket joint in the shoulder. We want to get maximum mobility in there for those kind of movements. And so this is, again, just reinforcing that while we're lengthening our spine. So imagine the crown of your head is reaching towards the wall in front of you, and the tailbone is reaching back, and that's being stretched on both sides. Sometimes I even will take a hand, press that hip back, like on each side. I'm reaching it back, and then I'll feel my low back stretch a little bit, and it kind of helps to think about that. So I'm reaching my hips back and my tailbone back as I go. Okay, so now here's where it's all done, and I might start to round just a tiny bit, but I can still get maybe a little more length through there. Okay, as you come forward, now go ahead and press the shins down, the tops of the feet down. That'll help to support the low back. And here I'm gonna walk my hands a little more forward. Okay, so right about here, go ahead and lighten the knees or lift them off, just barely. This is way easier. I get into my quads, but to work more deeply, just a little bit, then you'll really feel your abdominals. Feel shoulders spread, okay? I don't mean rounded, and I don't mean squeezed together. I feel apart from one another. Feel your hands, your fingers spread. Oh, that feels better, except for I need to lower down here. But I might actually benefit from a little support underneath my wrists. So notice if that's what you might need. You can take a stretch. And so a lot of this is, yes, it's awareness training, but it's also good exercise, if that's easy, which I'm sure it's not totally easy, but if you want more of a challenge, you lightly lift it off, boom, move one leg, then the other. Now the trick is, don't move it and, shift from one side or the other. You're trying to maintain feeling nice and centered, okay, throughout that. So quadruped rocking, yeah. All right, so we just did quadruped rocking. Now quadruped hip stretch is, we're gonna go back, we're gonna go to one side, take the right hand, press that hip away from you. Okay, so we're kind of loading it. You can move the hand over that's on that side. So we're kind of creating a triangle between our hands and that knee, because you're gonna lift the other one off and go to the side. For more of a stretch, you'd leave the pelvis kind of facing the floor. But how it resembles the DNS exercise sequence for kiddos, what they go for, it goes into this oblique sit. Boop. It goes down like that. So we don't have to do that right this moment. And there's variations of that, but we're kind of getting a nice stretch for the hip. It's a stretch, but it's also just creating awareness around this ball and socket joint that, oh yeah, you move, and a lot of us tend to be tight here. This is also great for IT band, because again, tension, I say again, like as if I mentioned it before, IT band is gonna connect in with here and here in the glutes. So when we're doing glute active stretches, we're also going to release the tension on the iliotibial band there. So yep, stretch. Or if it feels better, you can take it a little more. You can face the pelvis. So you just don't want to do like, it's not like this, okay? It's not like a side thing. You are starting to go down, okay? And if I'm starting to go down, you might not want this towel. It actually is, I prefer it not, but I wanted you to see where that should go. So you can experiment. So I'm not quite landing. I could land. But sometimes I just like to kind of get a little rhythm in there and go back and forth. Okay? And we'll see that, here we go, in 7-month form. Now that's on the forearm, but we can also, baby goes up on the hand as well. Oh, here, 10 months actually is where they're doing that into quadruped transition. So, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions.